gents, bro. Guys, Steve and I went to locals today, and you actually beat me in the finals, bro. You came first.
I'm taller than you. I'm better looking than you. I think I'm stronger than you.
Right after the first locals, right after the YCS win, and I did a lot of changes to the deck I think you guys will love.
Okay.
As you guys have been noticing, the only thing you can see on Dueling Book and probably your locals now is our RYZEAL FIENDSMITH deck.
Yes, it's your deck. Yeah,
It's everywhere. German Open had like 5 or 6 top 8s. There was multiple regional wins and tops over the weekend, multiple. I just want you all to know who your daddy is.
Yeah, so Steve, so honestly, I have a question. Like,
Yeah.
everybody is just copy the originator.
Honestly, guys, keep copying. I'm the best deck builder in the game. Honestly, copy away.
Customization.
Genius!
He's tenderizing the ground.
Of course!
Write that down. Write that down.
Copy this too.
Wait,
because
so
I figured out the solution to beat the deck.
Are you serious?
It's BYSTIALs. In
What?
the RYZEAL FIENDSMITH deck. So I'm gonna explain specifically how to do it. And in this video, I'm gonna go over so many small details that I'm seeing Dueling Book because it's playing so incorrectly. Probably the video after this one, I'm gonna explain 10 ways to play the deck on tips that people just don't know. Okay. So subscribe and like down below so you guys could like see it all. So without further ado, let's get started. Also, shout out Sam and Supreme Pro. We're not just filming, but for being the go! Let's go!
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
And my goal in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is to be the second goal.
Thank you, fam.
So first things first, you want to play the 6 starters. Obviously, if you guys remember, we were playing 3 of each of the
Wait,
RYZEALs.
what?
We just cut each of them to 2.
What's
These
going
are
on?
actually I prefer drawing Lubellion than this.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the deck is a FIENDSMITH deck. I cannot stress enough how good the FIENDSMITH stuff are.
It's so good.
It's the entire deck. The RYZEAL stuff are good, 100%. They're very good, but combine it with like the FIENDSMITH is the main goal, and you do not want to be locked into 4s. This is almost a link deck. I'm even playing Lina, the Light Charmer, in the extra deck.
You're insane.
like it's a link deck because the XYZ players will telegraph. What are you gonna do? Dual drive detonator?
It's
And
basic.
additionally, the dual drive is not resolving. Additionally, so you need more things and more layers of stuff your opponent's not expecting. Just cut the sword and X. I always side it up anyways. Now it's just there. So
okay.
this is the engine you're gonna play. As far as the 10 starters of the RYZEALs, and I'll explain some more RYZEAL cards we're playing later. But
Wait,
these are-
no cross,
just
no
one
plugin?
node, one cross.
Okay,
I'll get
okay.
to that part later. No plugin, but just the 10 starters. So you want these 10. Just so you guys see how many starters are on the deck. Those are all 1-card starters with these 6. Always, guys, this is one of the tips I'm going to say in a later video. Always start with Ice RYZEAL. Also in the masterclass. If you guys want to learn more about it, check out the masterclass below for recording. There's actually 12 hours of me explaining this deck in detail. So if you want to play this deck and take it seriously,
12 hours.
12
much
hours
is
of
it?
me explaining, 50 bucks.
12 hours,
That's
50
like
bucks.
$5 an hour.
That is insane.
Like, check it out. There's 12 hours recording me explaining this deck, and I guarantee some people that won regionals with took this.
Insane.
So, I took the recording and learned from it. But anyway, so if you have tracked or engraver, always start with Ice RYZEAL. Always.
Why?
This will eat hand traps. Your goal is to eat 3 hand traps and still put up something. So when it's gonna eat a hand trap, and additionally, if they don't hand trap it, the only way to get your X to get a search is if you do it immediately. So you have to go Ice X immediately. So you get Sword into Special X into Node. You get 3 basically you get 3 rank 4s. If you save the Ice for later, you only get 2 because Ice gets Sword. The X can't add anymore. So then you're still gonna go dual drive. You're still gonna detonator, and you're still gonna follow up anyway, regardless, because of the draw. And this gives you an ability to draw as well across. So you always start with the Ice, go straight into Exciton, and then later try to get a drop Necroquip. Speaking of drawing off Necroquip, it's another reason why we play 3 Lubellion, 3 Engraver. These now additionally say whatever their effect is, it says also draw 1 card.
You're insane.
6 ways to get the Necroquip, you're always getting it. The reason why Lubellion is so powerful is if you think of the RYZEAL FIENDSMITH deck that we start with.
Yeah.
FIENDSMITH card, then they go to RYZEAL, right?
Yeah.
So like the FIENDSMITH engine, then RYZEAL.
Yes.
So also be locked. So what you do is you Magnuma or Druid Worm, the Requiem. Grind game immediately over. There's no Caesar. There's no Necroquip. There's no sequence.
Yes.
None of them, because they need specifically 3 monsters to do that. So by getting rid of the Requiem, all that's just gone immediately.
Yes.
And then what's on field? Magnuma or Druid Worm, right? They also out detonator by itself.
It does, because Drew's Worm sends it.
Exactly.
Insane.
And even if they put their stuff in defense, it's irrelevant because you're just gonna link the Druid anyways.
That's insane.
So you're always able to do. That's one of the reasons I played Lina, because post side deck, I'm gonna show you guys some stuff. I always put monsters on board. I'm playing 8 hand traps post side deck that put themselves on board. So no matter what, there's gonna be 1 monster on board. With the 6 Charmies, it's quite a lot.
Wow.
But the FIENDSMITH stuff, and I just cut the FIENDSMITH stuff engine super small. I just cut, like, it used to be 3 tracked, and guys, tracked is amazing. Like, keep in mind, at worst, track is emergency teleport. For a card that's full combo, a negate, a Nibiru stop, negate on the opponent's turn, and a pop. Like, these cards are nuts. You want to see them all the time. You want as many, more the merrier.
Yeah.
But we're trying to cut it for the BYSTIAL stuff. And yeah, play the 3 Lubellion. You'll see what I mean how broken it is, because at worst, it gives you a free body, gives you regain. And you guys can imagine how crazy in the grind game regain and a FIENDSMITH engine is. You're just not losing.
Steven, I have a question. So, like, how did you, like, what in your mind made you think to combine, like, what goes on in your brain? Like, I don't understand. Like, how did you come up with it? Like,
I'm a computer, baby!
so, like, I think you might be the greatest player on the planet, I think.
I think that's factual. If you ask me,
Like, I think you're
if you
actually
ask me, I am the best Yu-Gi-Oh player on the planet.
I think you might be
And
insane.
I was the best Yu-Gi-Oh player on the planet before I won the trophy.
Honestly, I just think you're insane. I just think you might be insane, bro. I think insane.
And lastly, all these 20 are 20 amazing starters. It's a 44 card deck.
Yeah, like-
20 amazing starters. I want to see all of these, and they're different.
And, like, if you open up one of them anyways, like, one of them is bound to eat Ash, right?
Exactly.
So you open up, like, multiple.
Exactly.
Like, you know, it's really
exactly.
multiple starters.
And you guys will see what I mean as you play, how amazing it feels to activate Lubellion.
Yeah, it feels good.
Let me tell you guys, it feels a lot better to have one Lubellion than a second or a third RYZEAL card in your hand.
Yeah.
That's not even, like, debatable.
Yeah.
It's just so powerful to have.
Bro, and you're also playing Regain in this deck, right?
Yeah.
So Regain counters Malice, kind of.
Exactly.
Wow.
Regain has a very weird, it's very interesting. Regain has a cool, card dynamic that just obliterates Malice.
It does.
Like, it's pretty interesting. And then we play these 4 that I don't want to call them the bricks of the deck because they're like half bricks. You don't necessarily want to open them, but they're fine. At the very worst, if you draw Regain without a BYSTIAL, it almost trades off as an Upstart Goblin. Almost always. And if you see Regain without any of the BYSTIALs, you're hard making SP. So you're just drawing on your turn and their turn, and Regained is getting whatever SP banishes from their field,
Yes.
you're just putting back a Regain. It's kind of double value.
True.
So this trades off as, at the very least, an Upstart, so it's not a brick. I actually don't mind drawing it. This trades off as an extender they cannot prepare for when you're playing the RYZEAL stuff. I'd still prefer to search it, but it's not like the worst card in the world to see.
This is 40 cards?
44.
44, okay, makes sense.
And then it's something to keep in mind that a little late game, if you're trying to go, always go into RYZEAL shit. Don't special summon the RYZEAL. Sorry, always go into Link stuff and FIENDSMITH plays and try to go for game. Don't be stuck with the RYZEAL cards. So a little late game or even turn 2, if you have to normal summon no RYZEAL, get the effect to special, you're not locked. Keep that in mind. It's a 1-card way to FIENDSMITH engine once you have a singular RYZEAL in graveyard after turn 1. So it's like, just keep that in mind. It does come up. RYZEAL Cross is a pseudo called by the grave, so it's still kind of a half brick. And people would say this is a brick. That card won me a YCS.
Yeah, true, yeah, I did, you did.
So it's all good.
It did,
And they can't really prepare for it. And when it resolves, it's almost auto win. So if you see the deck now, it's 4 cards that are okay to draw their engine requirements, 20 amazing starters, and 20 hand traps.
That's insane.
And 20, it's not like what this deck does. It puts up an unbreakable board. 1 Ice RYZEAL puts up 10 interruptions, literally. So if 1 Ice RYZEAL could do that, with 20 amazing starters to help push everything, infinite grind game,
Yeah.
you're telling me this deck's allowed to play 20 hand traps still? It feels like a combo deck that has like 35 engine requirements and like 9 board breakers. That's what it feels like.
Yes.
But it still has the ability to play hand traps that kind of synergizes combo pieces. Because these 6 cards put themselves on the board going second. They put themselves on the board going second. Additionally,
So
you're
you
going to see
X
something
the
in the
mode.
side deck as well. So we have, these 18 hand traps. Now look at this, okay? This is the reason why I'm organizing it like this for a bit. These 18 hand traps, my side deck is very specific. And I always show extra deck first in profiles. I'm going to show the side deck because of how important it is in the deck building. So, the way the deck is built, if you remember these 3 cards, and this is the stuff I teach in the masterclass and stuff that you guys are going to need to see the next videos for. These 6 cards, yeah, they're so good. They're good. They're good. Going second,
They're not that good.
I want every single hand trap in the game, bro. So we're playing 20 hand traps, right? What if I told you instead of 20, post side, you're playing 27? You're siding on D7, going second, specifically going second. You still have the max out engine, bro. You still 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 crazy 1-card starters. No bricks! All bricks are gone! They're or not bricks, bad cards to draw, I guess. So that's 16, and now look at this, okay? 20 hand traps in the main, it's 27 post side. Whether it's Perulia, look at this. You put in 2 Mourner and 2 Phantasme. Now, Phantasme is the forgotten side deck card I'm going to make a whole video on. Phantasme might have to be bumped to 3 and might be main deck. So if you look at this deck here, yeah, these are the hand traps that are kind of just like they discard the kind of a neg 1, but they stop your opponent from plussing. But look at these. We have 8 draw cards. We have 8 cards that put themselves on board.
So you have access to the
These are pseudo engine. But they're going second, they apply so much pressure to your opponent. when you're able to, even Phantasme against RYZEAL Fiendsmith is still crazy.
Yeah.
It trades itself as an upstart goblin and it just summons itself. So imagine in a scenario where they just go Requiem effect. Well, Requiem, summon Phantasme, you still draw one card. Yeah, I know you don't draw two and put one back, but you draw one card.
Yes.
And it puts itself on field. Halfway to Close Moon. For nothing! Desiree Trap. What does Desiree say? Shuffle a card back, target a card in the field. Can't do that anymore. It does come. It's very good to have.
Desiree doesn't target, right?
Desiree does target.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Just the negate on the field targets, but when they send the trap from the grave, to send Desiree to the graveyard, that does not target.
Okay.
So now you have 8 draw cards to not just see, like, there's no bricks. This is post side deck. All these are in your deck. Now, if you're playing against Malice, you just substitute the 3 Bestials for 3 Lancia. And you're still having 27 against every single card. Like this is incredible. You can't lose going second. And against Malice, this card's broken. Additionally, cool thing with Phantasma that makes me want to play 3 of it is you could activate it on your opponent's turn and also on your turn against every meta deck. Every single meta deck. Because against Malice, you could do it when they go GWC, still draw a crazy amount. Like against Malice, when you hold this on your turn, this draws like 4, puts 3 back. And you just kill them. And then even when your opponent activates Requiem Lacrima on your turn, you can still Phantasma and just summon draw 1. So I think you need to play 3 of it. But anyway, 8 monsters put themselves on board, 8 hand traps that draw, and then in total is 27. So trust your opponent's not playing, and you're ending with 1 or 2 monsters on your board always. And then, how can you brick? After that, you just draw more of these. Even just drawing 5 of these is not a brick because they're pseudo engine. So like it's incredibly well built. And I really am the best deck builder in the game. Just copy the homework, boys. So yeah, the main deck's 44, but just keep in mind that the 3 Perilia, 2 Mourner, 2 Phantasma is side deck. This is just because I wanted to max out as many hand traps as possible. So use that siding pattern with the 3 Lancias. The 10 cards in the hand, to have 10 hand traps on the side and these 20 in the main makes it so mathematically, there's 27 great hand traps against every meta deck. 27 against every meta deck. You guys understood that there. 27 hand traps against every deck that you're going to play that's good. Now, if you tell me something, what if you play Pure RYZEAL, Stephen? But tell me, BYSTIAL not very good. If you play Pure RYZEAL, you already won the duel. I don't even need to hand trap them or side deck against them. The duel's over. Next, because you're playing so many, you still have room for 5 go first cards to make sure your plays resolve.
No D-Bear?
I remove D-Barrier because if my opponent D-Barriers me, I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care.
Oh, because your deck doesn't really make...
I don't care about XYZs. They're D-Barrying her for Fusion half the time. No problem. D-Barrying for Chaos Angel. So it's no problem. And the reason why, if you're going to play Call Crossel, you still need to play the 1 talents. You don't know if Malice decks are on breakers or not. So by playing Crossel every time going first with the called by, you're now guaranteed just by inserting a talents. It's not a random one of, it's specifically for Crossout, but it's still fine going first. So going first, these are kind of called by the graves. But now, if your opponent's on breakers and you don't really know, you're able, every breaker deck in the world's playing talents. Thrust talents. So they go thrust, they're getting talents. Or they're just activating talents. Hence, Crossout is now an answer to breaker decks too. So you need to play those 5. Alright, that's a side deck. Now the extra deck. It's a linked deck. So you play Requiem, you play Sequence. Agnande sucks. Okay, it's the 15th card in this extra deck. I'm going to explain why it's played. Moon of the Close Heaven, SP. So these are the 5 links you guys are familiar with. Now this is the new addition, and there's a line of the Light Charmer. Because it's a deck that puts 8 hand traps to put themselves on board, you're playing, if you're not playing against Fiendsmith, you almost always win. So when you're playing against Fiendsmith or RYZEAL, you're trying to use whether it's the Fiendsmith cards or the RYZEAL cards to get the Fiendsmith cards. Now you can't line a special X because X can't resolve, but line a can special ice if you need a level 4. But the main idea there is there's some lines where you're able to, like Requiem, Sequence, SP, a random Fiendsmith that you keep or a random RYZEAL that you keep, go line up, like it's gonna force an interruption. If not, it goes like you try to force interrupts. And this is a monster that searches Ice RYZEAL. So if you no longer have access to the RYZEAL monsters, but you only have Fiendsmith cards and hand traps, going second, you activate this, you special detonator from the opponent's graveyard. The special detonator and detonator effect resolves to attach. They're forced to interact with Lina immediately. They're forced to interact with Lina. If they do interact with Lina and stop, then you just enter battle and you try to save, like, grind game, but this comes up. It does come up a lot. These duels are turn 6, turn 8 duels always. You crash into their thing and then you search Ice RYZEAL and kill them. came up, and that's when I decided to add it in.
That's
and
insane.
it came up in the locals once. The card that I would remove in here would be these two, if I did, but right now I'm rolling with these. Sequence never resolves, so you don't need an Ignumde. If sequence is simply not resolving, you're never making sequence turn 0. Do not make sequence turn 0.
Why?
Do not make sequence turn 0.
Why?
Do not make...
Why?
This never resolving for one, ever. Additionally, you're shuffling all of your cards back. There's no Lacrima, there's no Requiem, there's no Engraver. Why are you shuffling your stuff back for one interruption when Caesar is a better interruption? And when you go sequence, you get hard obliterated to Nibiru. Hard, like, destroyed. You must respect the card. Do not make sequence turn 0. Sequence is specifically there when sometimes you could Caesar and sequence. Sometimes, literally, you can. When you start with Ice RYZEAL and like you later Engraver, you could easily do that. Sure, if you want to do it then, sure, no problem. But Caesar is number one priority. Do not ever make sequence if you haven't Caesared already. Additionally, sequence is there for turn 3 or 4. That's where this is there for. So are we really playing cards for turn 3 or 4 and maybe it comes up in turn 4? That's FIENDSMITH Agnumde. At that point, I might as well fucking play Access Code. Yeah. Like if we're playing for cards for turn 4. So Agnumde doesn't necessarily come up, but because Chaos Angel is gaining a lot of popularity, especially on dueling book money matches, because there's a lot of money matches going on that is bad. But still some people will do it. So FIENDSMITH Agnumde is... Chaos Angel gains a lot of popularity because it's tough to out when it's dark and light. So FIENDSMITH Agnumde is an out to it because you can get your card to 7,000 attack and it does piercing. So they can't sit on Chaos Angel forever when your card 7,000 attack and it's piercing. And they won't realize that like they're gonna try to build walls sometimes. They'll put like a Stole RYZEAL in defense, 200 defense. That's 7k attack. So that's the only reason it's there for the Chaos Angel popularity. But as soon as that goes down, if it does, then it's gone immediately. I'm not playing Aggregator in the deck because I'm not trying to special X RYZEAL. Relying on like there will be scenarios where Aggregator comes up for sure, but I'm not trying to play RYZEAL. I am not. So I might remove Agnumde for Aggregator if I ever wanted to play it more like control based with RYZEAL. It is a control deck, but I am not playing Aggregator because you're not playing RYZEAL. It doesn't come up as much as you guys think. It comes up occasionally to play Aggregator, occasionally when you're forced to play pure RYZEAL. And again, if you're forced to play pure RYZEAL, you most likely already lost a duel. Yeah, these three you need to play. You need to play Caesar. You need to play Typhon. These 5 are non-negotiable. These 4 are non-negotiable. Do not cut SP. Do not cut Moon of the Closed Heaven. I saw a winning list on the regional not play Moon of the Closed Heaven.
Why?
The whole point of Moon is that the D-barrier does not affect this deck anymore. Hence, you need Moon of the Closed Heaven. Additionally, with all the 8 hand traps that put themselves on board and simplified game states where you normal 2 hand traps in like back-to-back turns. These 2 can be removed if you wanted for something. Maybe Aggregator. Aggregator is the next card. But yeah. Next, this is the only rank 4s I play. 2 Detonator, 1 Duo Drive, 1 Exciton. That's it. Dweller and Aggregator are the 2 cards that come up as well. But you have to, such a time, actually get to decide what will come up the most. And I find line that comes up many times if played properly. So these are the 4, and just make sure not to waste your RYZEALs because you only have a finite number of rank 4s. But if you use your resources correctly, it's enough. That's the deck, and this is going to take over the meta because it's the best counter to the best deck in the meta. Similarly, at YCS Anaheim, the best deck was RYZEAL, right? Like the most played deck. So the point of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Is to build a deck that destroys the best deck, right guys? So this deck not only defeats RYZEAL FIENDSMITH, but it defeats Malice as well. Even though the BYSTIALs don't seem like they do a lot, they do a lot because of Lubellion, and you're able to have 27 hand traps post side deck. That's the video! Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe if you guys want to see more. And this is just the best deck, and I'm going to win YCS Orlando.
Let's go, baby.